Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate having this field hearing outside of Washington, D.C. It's refreshing for our committee to hold field hearings away from the nation's capital so that we can hear directly from Americans that are impacted by our policy decisions or policy decisions that were made years ago. And I want to thank again the St. George Fire Department for allowing us to meet here today. And also, I want to thank all of you witnesses. I'm grateful for having such incredible public servants here to talk about the issues that affect them in their daily lives. I'll try to keep my remarks brief because I want to allow time for questions, and our discussion here is really to talk about the large, unwieldy D.C. bureaucracies that far too often don't help people with the intended help that they're supposed to have. And for me, far too often, Mary and John at the Social Security Administration prioritize making it easier for them to pass paper between their cubicles instead of focusing on how to help the teachers and firefighters and police officers prepare for retirement. The complexity of the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset and the lack of clear communication early in the careers of public servants means there's many Kansans and Americans who are unprepared for the lower Social Security payment when they retire. Mr. Pyro, I've visited a number of firehouses and spoken with firefighters in my district. I know that before you enter a fire scene, you have the tools and the training and the preparation needed. You wouldn't know all the specific challenges you face, but you're prepared to address whatever you come against. I think of retirement in the same way. We don't know what challenges we'll face, how long we'll live, what our health conditions will be, how we'll spend our time no longer working. But we do know that we want to spend, that during our working years, we spend time to prepare for our retirement. Do you feel the Social Security Administration provided you with the tools to be prepared for retiring regarding WEP and GPO?
No, sir, I don't. I don't feel like we were informed, and they need to share that responsibility with the retirement system as well as the employer, the fire department, school boards, state agencies, law enforcement. If you're not made aware of the impact, it can be detriment on how you select your retirement and what benefits you're going to leave your spouse. Being better prepared for it. Had you known, and had my health been good enough, it would have been quite a bit better for me to take out a large life insurance policy and have kept the $835.83 and paid for the policy with it, and she would not be penalized because she received a life insurance policy versus a retirement pension. And had that been expressed better to me, that would have been an option had my health, if my health allowed it at that time, and I was not diagnosed with cancer at the time of my retirement, then that would have been a much better option for me and would have better protected my wife had I known about it. Right. And I think those three components that they dropped the ball.
Right, right.
Yes, well, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Ms. Porter, I mean, there's a special place in my heart for teachers. My wife taught for several years. Several of my staff members, both in D.C. and in Kansas, either are former teachers or married to teachers. I know that being a teacher is not another job, it's a calling. And you probably didn't join the profession for the paycheck, but because you wanted to help inspire young minds. Did you know about WEP and GPO when you first looked at being a teacher? And how did it change your outlook on choice of your career as a teacher?
I did not know, but I'm not sure the exact year that went into effect in the 80s. So when I started teaching, because I stayed out about 5 years, I had 5 children in 5 years, so I stayed out after the 5th one for a while. But at the time I went into teaching, that law was not into effect. It was not in effect. Some of the older teachers may have been able to draw both. But as I said before, when I found out about it, I just stayed back in the classroom longer. And I found out through a fellow teacher, no one ever had mentioned that at school before. And I think to this day, there's still a lot of people that do not know about that. Another thing I think we're facing, and I'm just speaking from the teaching standpoint, Louisiana is severely short of teachers now. Now, once they find out more about this and more aware, we're going to even have fewer of them going in, or we're going to have some of them that are going to leave and go somewhere else.
That's right. And we always have a shortage of
Yes.
teachers and firefighters and
All
law
those,
enforcement.
yes.
Mr. Chairman, I know so many laws that come out of Washington, WEP and GPO were designed to solve a problem. Unfortunately, it's made it tougher in a lot of cases, and we need to make sure that we focus on policies that help make it better, beneficial for American citizens. With that, I yield back.